Episode 15 of Danger to My Heart is excellent as ever. What a fantastic episode. I don't even know where to start. I guess to start things off, Moika is so freaking fantastic. Even the sister had a great moment in this episode. It seemed like the girls in this series kind of just taking a step up and having to handle the situation. I've always liked the little moments with Ishikawa's sister. His sister is just absolutely fantastic. She has quite a heart in there, and she's trying to instill this knowledge upon him. I really like the fact that, unlike a lot of the first season, it really felt like the sister was being seen as something malicious to Ishikawa, which is a kid thing. He just thinks that she hates his guts. And in actuality, you see all these little moments where there's so much heart in there where she's trying to give him a push and give him somewhat of a confidence that he needs in order to get something done. But like I said, I'm getting ahead of myself. We have the creating the chocolates for Valentine's episode, and Ichikawa is immediately invited to go to the meetup at the house. And it again goes in that whole thing where the moment he gets there, he's having that self-doubt again, which I can admit at this point, it really feels like, have we not gotten over this whole hump yet? But I think it's because they're adding the friends into the picture that it's sort of adding a doubt back into his head. Like he gets there. Well, the first initial thing that kind of throws something in his face is obviously Kobayashi. And she's like, what are you doing here? Are you just passing by? And he's like, oh crap, was I not invited? Wait, the text says the time. Maybe she accidentally sent that. And like I said, Moika has to show up and say, what are you doing, dude? Come on, let's go. I love it. She knew exactly what he was doing. He's like, you're not getting out of here. Come here. Her house is right here. You're coming with us. But again, it kind of has that whole thing where at that point, it gets back into his head, that thing that he keeps getting stuck on. We're just friends. Which, yes, I mean, from an outsider's perspective, we're saying Yamada really, really likes you, dude. Yeah, you can say that she's doing that because she's being overly doty as a friend and just to a boy instead of a girl. But, I mean, by all accounts, from our perspective, it seems like this girl just, in general, just really, really likes him. And I guess it's okay for him to at least accept that it can just be an aspect of friends. But by all accounts, it doesn't seem like that's the case. But still, Ichikawa has in his head of like, okay, it's obviously as a friend. I'm here with all the friends. She invited me along with that pack, so obviously that's the case. But yeah, everything in the house itself was fantastic. Just so much shenanigans around. Over here, you have Moika's trying to at least give Ishikawa an out, which, yes, you could say causes more damage than good, but she obviously seen that nobody's going to say anything. There's obviously a question here. Mom's super strict, and he's freaking out. Yamada's freaking out. Okay, I'll help him out. Oh, yeah, this is my boyfriend. Oh, yeah, okay, I guess you kids these days, sure. I got a kick out of it. And again, it technically means that, well, it's obvious that the mother doesn't know who he is, and it's only until later on that she connects the name and goes, oh, that's the person that Yamada keeps talking about. It could have been even at that moment that she realized, wait, this is the one that Yamada keeps talking about, and he's with Moika? That doesn't seem right. But no, going through the whole scenario of like every 2 seconds, Yamada wants to help Ichikawa. And every time she goes to do that, Mom sees her like getting the apron and she's like, oh my, is she slipping in on there? Trying to steal Moika away from Moika. It was so dorky. Yeah, just a massive. I think this whole segment right here, what kind of stands out to me is it's one of those question marks of who's taking the most emotional damage here. Is it Yamada or is it Ichikawa? Because the entire time Yamada is just like gloom face, like, I can't believe they're doing all those things with Moika. And Moika at some points like getting into it. Let's see how much we can prod her. And I think Moika was trying to get some sort of reaction out of Yamada to step up. It is kind of one of those teasing in order to get her to take action and get him. Because yes, Moika, like she kind of said in the first season, she's trying to back Ichikawa because she knows Ichikawa is a good guy. And so she is perfectly fine with the two of them getting together. It's just the problem is nothing's happening. And I think this is kind of one of those moments of like, why is this still a thing? Let me prod and see if I can get some steps to be taken here. But I like it. It just made it like an extremely uncomfortable situation. You even have Yoshida, she's speaking up like, this is just not right. Moika's over here saying, say my name. He's like, oh, Moika, this isn't right. It's just an extremely uncomfortable situation. And I just loved every single minute of it. It was just too good. But yes, eventually Ishikawa goes to leave. It's too much for him. He goes to leave. And I like this because this is one of those moments where season 1, Ichikawa would have just walked out the door and left. This is a massive thing for him to do in the idea that he has a misunderstanding here. He obviously sees that if he ever wants an opportunity to make some sort of relationship happen, he needs to clear this up. Otherwise, it's going to cause problems later. He needed to clear up the air on his relationship with Moika. And so as he's leaving, again, even if he's like almost to the door, he's almost getting out of there. He's almost stopped, says, thank you, take care, and then immediately stops. Okay, by the way, the whole thing with Moika, not a thing. It was a lie. I'm sorry. And then goes to leave. It was so good. It was like one of those moments where you're on the side like going, good boy. You did the right thing for once. You actually just put aside your uncomfortableness and spoke out in order to clear the air. And yeah, it did the whole trope thing where they go outside the door, they sit down, and for some reason nobody ever goes to the door. But no, immediately the mom opens the door like, wait, what's going on? It was super cute. Again, this is the moment where we find out that, which we would all kind of assume at this point, Yamada talks about Ichikawa a lot. And mom knows that. And the moment she heard Ichikawa's name, again, I think she knew and she was going like, wait, what's going on? And the moment that was kind of cleared up, she's like, oh, okay. I think mom figured out at that point. She knows what's going on. Gets that little moment of like, oh yeah, she talks about you all the time. She says these things and the mom, Yamada has to jump out. Stop, mom, go inside, get out of here. It was super cute. We almost got a little insight into all the stuff that Yamada talks about with Ichikawa, with her mom. But yeah, really sweet little moment here with the aspect of, again, just him not wanting Yamada to continuously lie. And that was something that was hit on the previous episodes, that she's trying to hide this relationship, or at least hide who he is. Because again, the aspect of a boy with a girl seems like there's going to be some question marks there. Is their actual relationship? What are they doing together? And he didn't want Yamada to continue to lie. And so that's why he went along with Moika. I think it was a spur of the moment thing. Like, he was uncomfortable. They just said that this lady's strict. Moika gave an out. He's like, okay, let's kind of go along with this. But it was still a good thing that he had good intentions in mind. It just it snowballed into a bad area, I guess is the way of answering it. But yeah, she pulls him back in there and we get the dad. Like when they first, this is kind of a shock for me because I assume that Moika, at least Moika, maybe even Kobayashi, has met the father already. But yeah, everybody's like terrified of this dude. Everybody just got gloomy and he's sitting there cooking. The father was great. And I love what they did with that whole kind of taking this joke from back here and kind of circling it around, and the idea that the father thinks that Ichikawa's name is Yamada. Like, he just assumes that Ichikawa is of a Yamada family. Yamada is, I think, from my understanding, a very common family name. So it makes sense that, yeah, this boy's probably going to have the same name as Yamada, well, their family, whatever. But, yeah, just immediately says, do you like video games? Come over here, play video games with me. And they're sitting there playing together, and Yamada comes in, I like to play games too. And they just have like this really great little family moment. I'm like, oh, it's just so sweet. Just like relationship goals right there. Just the whole family together and just kind of has the arm around playing the game. I like the fact that later you had Moika's like, I never pictured this guy to be, you know, a French chef and living in a skyscraper, and he looks all gloomy and big, which, by the way, at the studio, come on, can he not keep this guy's proportions proper the entire episode? They kind of got sloppy with his character design. But yeah, at some point he pulls the hair back, does the Eren thing, pulls the hair back, and looks super hunky, and Moika's just getting all doki doki. It was great. Really, really little fantastic, little cute little moment with all of them. And like I said, a bit later on, just that callback later on, Yamada running around asking how they liked the whole situation. Father, like, it was noisy, but I needed Yamada's friend code. And the mother just enjoying it as well. It was super sweet. She looked so happy, just kind of running around trying to figure out what they thought of everybody. It's obvious that she was prodding for Ichikawa. But again, it kind of insinuates that they all met the parents for the first time this time. Again, none of them seemed to know who the father was. They were terrified of him. So it implies that Yamada was, you know, introducing to the family everybody. It was really sweet in that regard. So yeah, that's when we have the little scene with Ichikawa and the girls. And I really love this. I really do love how much these girls seem to care for Yamada, and they're always looking out. It's mostly the perspective of Moika. Like, Moika has been most of our kind of perspective into the girls and how much they at least are looking out for her behind her back. But it was cute to kind of see that, at least even with, what was the other girl's name? Yoshida, that she even was looking out for Yamada. Obviously, right here, she's going, Yamada obviously looked like she was uncomfortable. Like, you guys were doing something that was making her extremely uncomfortable, and I had to stop it. But yeah, there's a really sweet, I mean, all of them have their moments. I guess Kobayashi's the only one that seemingly has not really had that. We got a lot of sense in the first episode, or the first season, that Kobayashi was like the again, the boyfriend, she was the one that's always protecting Yamada, but she's always kind of very childish. And they even point out in this episode, having her go like, oh, I guess me and Yamada are going to be the last one to get to anybody. And everybody's like, no, Yamada's already passed you. But they even had a little great little moment in this episode kind of showing how Kobayashi has helped Yamada in a way. She was obviously talking it up quite a bit, but she was talking about this whole story with Yamada and when she first met her and how she liked how much Kobayashi was still working hard despite the fact that she was so good. And I think that was kind of a bump for Yamada, and if you kind of connect it to what happened in the previous episode, that she always has, you know, this issue with going to do something, realizing other people are better than her, and then giving up on it. It could be this idea of, despite the fact of being good at something, just keeping pushing. Maybe it was her way of seeing why everybody's better than her. Why can I never catch up to this person? They're always better at it than I am. Oh, that's because despite the fact they're good, they're still trying to get better. And I think that could have been something that Yamada picked up on, and Kobayashi just doesn't understand what she's talking about there. But again, from our perspective, seeing that story that she told in the previous episode, that could be the connection there. But anyways, that all leads to best sister scene. I love Kana so much, and this scene was so fantastic. I mean, obviously before then we had the little phone call, and he talks to Yamada, and she talks about how she went around to each of the two parents and asked what they thought. Because again, this is kind of this whole moment where not just Ichikawa was invited to the party, it was all the friends. But I think there was a side of it that almost is Yamada trying to prod for Ichikawa. But this was kind of a cute little moment where she's like going around and asking them all what they think of Ichikawa, and technically our friends. And yeah, I like how Ichikawa says, yeah, once I got that truth out there, you know, they were great. I mean, they were what I would expect them to be. And she kind of said the same thing in reverse. They said kind of that same thing. But for some reason, Dad thinks your name is Yamada. I love that whole thing. I love that whole thing so much. But yeah, the sister, I love it. Going down there and she's swinging back the drinks. She's like, yeah, I can do this now. I'm old enough. I can swing these down, do that 9%. I've always loved the relationship with Kana for him is the idea that I didn't like it at first, because in this first season, it really felt like she's trying to do stuff for him, and she's trying to help him out, and she's trying to coddle him, and he just thinks she's the worst person. Like again, it's kind of based on some flashbacks of some earlier days of them together and how she was always nasty to him, whatever. He thinks that she hates him. He had this in his mind. I like that that's cleared up. They never really kind of got specifically into how that clears up, unless I'm forgetting. But Kana's always been kind of looking out for Ichikawa, and it's sort of this idea of trying to keep his expectations set. And I think the moment that she noticed that Yamada was coming there to that festival for Ichikawa, and she tried to push them together, you know, went out of her way to help them to get together. I think that moment, you kind of seen that sign that she's really trying to help him out. And there was a sense in there of her, I guess, trying to keep his expectations straight so that he doesn't get burnt. And I think they sort of implied that was sort of personal experience for her. She's trying to make sure that he doesn't get that expectation set and then get ruined. But I think at this point, it's like in this particular scene, it almost feels as if she's trying to give him an out. Like, yeah, Yamada's there, but I think she's realizing that he's not moving. Like, are you still stuck in this spot? And I think she's trying to give him an out. And I think that is for a good reason. She wants to give him an out so that he doesn't feel like he is going to be destroyed if this doesn't work out. But I like the fact that is, in a way of pushing him. He is now being pushed by her by saying, look, it might not work out, but there's plenty of girls out there. No, only Yamada. Yeah, you might change your mind at some point. No, I'll never change. It's always Yamada. It was so great. And he's like, I want to be her boyfriend. And they just both freak out. It was so great. Like, he just yells at the pillow, and then just like, that just happens. And she's like, wait, what are you drinking? You didn't have any alcohol in that one. What are you doing? It was super good. It was like a cute little moment between the two of them, and how he just opened up to her and just had somebody to vent to, I think is what it was. He finally had somebody to vent his true thoughts to. Now, again, Moika's like, I like her. We all know. It was easy, dude. But no, it was really sweet to kind of see him kind of just blurt that out and just completely lose it. It was just super cute. I loved it so much. Oh, that's right. Kana shipping the harem. She's like, you went over there with a bunch of girls? Dang, Ichikawa got all those girls. like kind of shipping the Ichikawa harem. Like she's just totally backing him. Like, I'll back you. That's fine. If you're gonna go for all of them, just go for all of them. Yeah, that all kind of wraps up with the following day when he's now at this point decided that this is what I'm gonna do. Having this little walking with Yamada, and Yamada, he's thinking about the fact that he's deciding that he's gonna jump on this miracle. He's gonna jump on this chance. He's going to just do it. Stop thinking about, just do it. At the same time, Yamada's thinking about, I don't know if I want to give these chocolates to the boys, and he just kind of turns and says, don't. It was kind of like one of those moments where he expressed to Yamada, don't give it to any of the boys. Only me. Because, yeah, technically, if somebody's in a relationship, they're not going to give out the chocolates like that. This is something that's specifically for, it's either obligations, which is what they were technically making. That's why they stamped them on with the obligations. It's either an obligatory chocolate, which is for pretty much everybody. Don't think of it romantic if I give you this. And the opposite is, yes, just straight, you're giving it to somebody that you like. And that kind of thing happens. And I think right there, it's really him telling her, don't give it to other boys because, you know, me. And I think she kind of picked up on it like, okay, that works. I get you. It was sweet. It was sweet. Again, it got that whole thing of like him really thinking about, okay, we don't know. I don't know if tomorrow we will be together. So if that's the case, maybe I should try. Go for what I want. And he just said in the previous scene, I want Yamada. And so it's finally at this point, he's deciding I am going to go after Yamada. I want to be her boyfriend. Now, I'm very curious where we're going to go from here. Like, we're only like the third episode, and we're just picking things up. This season so far has been like, holy crap, we are just digging in. Like, we're not stopping. I kind of am happy they stopped the first season where they did. I hope we don't get into spinning wheels, and this series hasn't done it so far. I mean, there is a little bit of a question mark this episode with how he's still thinking about, well, I'm just a friend, which is him kind of repeating, but that is Ichikawa. But yeah, I kind of wonder what we're going to do in the next episode, because from this point on, he has decided, I want to be her boyfriend. That has been decided. We don't fully know Yamada's perspective. She could just be a super cuddly friend. She could be coddling him and just being like a super friend. But I think there is an idea that, yes, obviously it feels like Yamada likes Ichikawa, or at least wants him to be around her. So what we're going to get into possibly going forward is maybe him just getting up the courage to say something. And there could just be also an idea of him once again having that doubt put on him. What if she says no? Or if she says no, will that ruin what we have already? Because that's an obvious question that a lot of people at this point in they're wanting to step forward will deal with. What if I ruin what we already have? Do I want to ruin that? But he's already established before, we can't keep as friends. We can't stay this way. Because eventually we're going to grow up and people will not accept us being around each other. So I'll be curious to see what kind of steps they take going forward. But yeah, I forgot about the curtain scene. Oh my gosh, the curtain scene was so good. And I love the curtain scene especially, yeah, partly because Moika's wanting to go give chocolates to the dad. Look, yeah, you like him. Well, he helped us out. He helped them out. But no, I like the whole segment behind the curtain because it emphasizes something that I want to say this is what they're going for. Is, again, previous episode, we give an indication that Yamada has been coddled a bit. And the idea that they always encourage her to keep trying new things, and whenever she fails, they accept it and they move on. They not only accept that she wants to quit, but they also reward her in the end. And Ichikawa kind of felt that was because they want to encourage her to try again. When she gave him the chocolate and he said, it's too sweet, but that's just me. She said, that's why I'm glad you're here. I think there is a side of Yamada that likes that Ichikawa is willing to tell her this is wrong. He is honest with her. And I think she likes that. I think that's a comfort that she has. A lot of people, when they're overly doted on, they do kind of gravitate to somebody to tell them structure. I'm always told yes, 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 yes. Then I never know what no is. Ichikawa says no, and I go, okay, there's structure. He'll at least be honest with me, so I'll know if this is right or wrong. And I think she does appreciate that. I think that's what she's kind of expressing there, unless I'm completely reading that wrong. But it was a sweet little scene. It was super cute too. So yeah, overall, just another fantastic episode. This season of Dangers in My Heart has been incredible, which really breaks my heart that it's not in the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. I guess none of the judges watched Dangers in My Heart. It's not even in the romance section. Come on. But no, I really, really a fantastic episode. Just the balance in this episode was perfect. It had the funny moments. It had the, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened moments, the kind of cringy moments, the just goofy moments, and just heartfelt moments that just kind of advanced the characters forward, and just a massive step forward for Ichikawa's character. And yeah, just great. The girls in this cast are fantastic. Moika, Kana, they're just great. I love them to death. And yes, plenty of fun moments with the parents. But yeah, that's my thoughts on episode 15. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button to get my content. I do news reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, I cover this show every single week, pretty much. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you did, you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate what it does, and y'all take care.